Hello everyone, I am Bhavika from Chandigarh Civil Services. Today I will be discussing with you UPSC Law Optional paper of 2023. अगर हम इस साल के पेपर को देखते हैं तो एज यूजुअल पेपर वन वाज वेरी इजी, पर पेपर टू के कुछ क्वेश्चंस हैं जो वो उनका लेवल डिफिकल्ट था. I will make 4 videos on both the papers, and this video I will start with part A of paper 1, and I will discuss what was asked in the questions and उसका answer हम किस तरह से attempt कर सकते हैं. The first question is, preamble of the Indian Constitution is indicative of the basic values that the political system is expected to pursue. How far do you agree with the statement? Explain with the reference to values that have been enshrined in the preamble of the Constitution. तो ये क्वेश्चन हमें साफ साफ ये पूछ रहा है कि प्रियम्बल के फीचर्स क्या हैं. इसको अटेम्प्ट करने के लिए सबसे पहले हम इंट्रोडक्शन में पर्पस ऑफ द प्रियम्बल टू द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया को एक्सप्लेन करेंगे इन अराउंड 2 to 3 लाइन्स. Then we'll start picking each feature, or we can say core values of the preamble, one by one, like starting from we the people of India, sovereign, socialist, etc., up till unity and integrity of the nation. Explain all of them in short, and उसके साथ we'll add a case law in each point, followed by a suitable conclusion. Important cases जो mention कर सकते हैं like गोलकनाथ सज्जन सिंह, बेरूबारी यूनियन केस, केशव नंदा भारती वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ केरला, these all can be included. The next question is, the office of the president under the Indian Constitution has been designed to be largely that of a figurehead. Explain with reference to the cases decided on the subject. तो इस क्वेश्चन में इंडियन प्रेसिडेंशियल ऑफिस के नेचर की बात करनी है हमने. फर्स्टली हम स्टार्ट करेंगे बाय गिविंग a brief overview of the office of president, like its daily functions, powers exercised on the advice of council of ministers. Then we'll explain the line of the question itself, that why the office of president of India is largely a figurehead. For this, we will mention the source of this provision of the Presidential Office of India, which we have borrowed from the British. And we can also discuss the Constitutional Assembly debates, especially the words of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, that this office has been kept similar in line with the British. Now, if you see this question, it has been asked to refer certain cases relating to it. So, some important cases also must be mentioned, like Shamsher Singh versus State of Punjab, Ram Joy Kapoor case. Now, third question is, there is an obvious land in favor of the center in distribution of powers between the center and states. Do you agree with the statement? Explain. I don't think that I need to even discuss this question because it is easy, but still, we will first mention about the division of powers between the center and the states under the Constitution of India as provided in Schedule 7. इसमें हम रेजिडरी पावर्स को डिस्कस करेंगे, पावर्स ड्यूरिंग प्रोक्लेमेशन ऑफ इमरजेंसी, रूल ऑफ रिपग्नेंसी, appointment of governors, etc. I think this question can be easily attempted. The next question is, the principles of natural justice are not cast in stone, and there is always a possibility of deviation from stated principles of law in view of overall demands of justice. Explain citing decided cases on the subject. This question we'll start by writing what are the principles of natural justice, what is their purpose. Then we will pick one by one both the principles, explain them and give exceptions to them, like emergency situations, public interest, express statutory provisions. Some important cases which you can include in this answer are like Charan Lal Sahu versus Union of India, Ashok Kumar Yadav, Bihar School Examination Board. Like there are many more. There is a huge list of cases for this topic. The last question of the compulsory question of part A is, explain and elucidate the grounds of judicial review for administrative action by quoting decided cases on the subject. In this question, first give the meaning of judicial review, then we'll explain the grounds of judicial review for administrative action, like illegality, procedural impropriety, proportionality, and irrationality, or we call it Wednesbury principle. And along with these, one case law should be mentioned with each point. Like you can add Menka Gandhi case, Sardar Singh versus Union of India, Om Kumar versus Union of India. Now the next question, question number 2, part A, is the Constitution of India has provided for a clear-cut distinction between civil and political rights on one hand and economic and cultural rights on the other, with a distinct primacy given to civil and political rights. Explain. In this question, clearly the relationship between the fundamental rights and DPSPs, or we can say the primacy which FRs enjoy over DPSPs, has been asked. So, the position which is enjoyed by the FRs, like the civil and political rights, such as right to equality, freedom, etc., are contained in the fundamental rights, which are enforceable, and an aggrieved person can directly approach the court. Whereas the cultural and economic rights are enshrined under the DPSPs, like equal pay for equal work, etc. These are directives to the nation, and if not implemented, the aggrieved person cannot approach the court. But we in the end we can give a conclusion which is on a positive note, like the line of demarcation between them has gradually reduced over time by various judicial decisions, and you can also cite a few of them if you want. The next question is, Panchayati Raj institutions and urban local bodies have been accorded constitutional status. Explain the ambit and structure of the authority of Panchayati Raj institutions and urban local bodies under the Indian Constitution. This is a very basic question. You can start with the constitutional amendments which inserted these provisions. Then one by one, first explain the Panchayati Raj institution. Along with that, mention their articles, their structure, functions, and then similarly for urban local bodies, followed by a suitable conclusion. Now another very direct and easy question, that is, the Constitution of India provides constitutional status and protection to civil servants. What protections have been secured for civil servants in India? Explain. I don't think there is a need to discuss this one also. In this, just make sure that you cite the relevant articles and case laws like Sukhbant Singh versus State of Punjab, Union of India versus Balbir Singh, Union of India versus Tulsi Ram Patel, or any other case for that matter. The next question, that is question number 3. Superintendent's direction and control of elections is vested in the office of the Election Commission, and therefore, the appointment of Election Commissioner is of crucial importance in conducting free and fair elections. Critically examine the above statement with reference to the recent judicial decisions. In this 20 marker, we can start by explaining how Election Commission is important for the democratic process of India. Further role and functions of the commission can be discussed. Then the most important part of this question will be case laws, starting from TN session case to the most recent judgment of Anup Baranwal versus Union of India. All the cases should be mentioned. Second question under question number 3 is, legal aid provides a basic tool for access to justice for poor and marginalized sections of society. Discuss and elucidate the constitutional provisions and the provisions of the Legal Services Authority Act 1987. A very simple question. Firstly, define what is legal aid and then discuss the provisions of the Constitution that recognize the free legal aid, like Article 21, 14, 39A. After this, discuss all the provisions of the Legal Services Authority Act 1987, like its establishment, functions, role, also about the Lok Adalats. This is all that has to be written in this question. Now, the last part of question number 3, the strength of the eminent domain is inversely proportional to the strength of democratic structure of any system. Do you agree with this statement? Explain. In this, you firstly have to explain the concept of eminent domain. Then discuss the right to property, amendments related to it, and the present scenario. Also mention about the act, that is the Land Acquisition Act of 2013, and then you can cite, so these, there are certain cases that have to be discussed. Sura Ram Reddy versus Ranga Reddy case. Another case there is that Basanti Bai versus State of Maharashtra. These all can be discussed. Now, question number 4, part A is the what do you understand by breakdown of the constitutional machinery in a state? Critically examine the powers of the president in imposing president's rule under Article 356 of the Constitution by citing decided cases on the point. This question can be started by explaining the breakdown of constitutional machinery of state and how a president can issue a proclamation in the state on the report of the governor. Then discuss the powers of the president and the changes which come into play on the issue of proclamation, and also cite relevant articles of the constitution. After this, various judicial decisions are to be cited related to state emergency, like the most important one is SR Bomai versus Union of India. Now, this is a very basic question. Discuss the objectives of the establishment of Lokpal and Lokayukta and the powers and functions under the Lokpal and Lokayukta Act of 2013. Examine the effectiveness of the said act. I don't think that it needs to be discussed. This is the last question of part A of paper 1. If at any time it appears to the President that a critical question of law and fact has arisen, the President can obtain the opinion of the Supreme Court. Discuss the role of the Supreme Court in this matter by giving suitable examples. This is about the advisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court under Article 143. Discuss this jurisdiction in detail, and in the end, the reference cases can be cited, like the reference case of Kerala Education Bill, Berubari Union, and there are many more. You can cite according to the word limit. So, in this video, I have discussed the entire part A of paper 1. The part B of paper 1 will be discussed in the next video. Till then, if you wish to attempt any of these questions and would like to get it evaluated, you can mail them to me at law.bhavikabansal@gmail.com.